So we are on our final day for this project. We are down to seeding and fertilizing, and I'm gonna start out today by aerating the soil along the edge here. We've already raked the entire yard to kind of grade it as much as possible. We've gotten as much of the stones out as we possibly can. We've gotten out a lot of the sticks and shrubs. Just did as much as we could to kind of grade the yard coming down this way because it kind of slopes into my neighbor's yard. So today, we're gonna fertilize and seed. I went back and bought another bag of seeds yesterday because to be honest, I'd rather overseed than underseed, and it's a lot more yard than I'll say I anticipated. But let's get started. Hopefully I get to finish this up today. It's supposed to rain tonight, and we'll go from there. So I'm actually gonna start cutting this way around the perimeter that way. The edge guard is gonna keep it from splashing anywhere that it doesn't need to go. We'll start over here and we'll end up right back right over here. Now the only reason I started with the perimeter is because I wanted to make sure that up to every corner was fully fertilized before I started seeding or before I started fertilizing the more open spaces. The reason I did this was because I wanted to make sure that I was able to get grass up to every single corner. So that means behind the garden, behind the shed, all around the trees. I did anything I could to make sure that every single part of the yard was fertilized properly. Now, I can't really tell you why I ended up doing this very weird circular 8 pattern up until I got to the middle of the yard, but I do have ADHD, so here we are. Welcome to the show. All right, so I just finished going over the entire yard with the fertilizer. I did get every single spot, but now I'm gonna literally over fertilize. I'm gonna do double the coverage. I did double the coverage in the corners already, so that way I won't have to go back to them. So I did double coverage in there. Already you can't really see it, honestly, but I did double coverage in there. I did double coverage back there. And then I also did double coverage over there. So all my strokes now are gonna be just back and forth on the main part, just to make sure that it's fully fertilized before I put the seeds down. And then I spend the last hour basically just raking to kind of even everything out. So coming along nicely. So before starting this project, I did a lot of research, and prior to this, I've never been into lawn care before. I never cared what my backyard looked like. It just did not resonate with me because, let's be realistic, doing lawn care maintenance was never my favorite thing. However, this past year, I got 2 new dogs that really just tear the yard up when they start to play. So I wanted to do something to kind of fix the problems that I already had, but to also prevent some things from happening again, you know, just from their playtime. So I decided to double fertilize because I've never treated my yard with anything before, and after digging up the soil and bringing new soil to the top, I figured it'd be a good idea to do double coverage when it comes to the fertilizer. All right, so we're finally done with fertilizer. Now we are going to move on to the grass seed. I used an entire bag of fertilizer just to make sure. My back lawn hasn't really been treated in a while, so we are deciding to go with the Pennington grass seed, the Kentucky 31. This is my first time doing this. It's been pretty straightforward, to be honest with you. I mean, the challenges that I've gotten mostly are the rocks in my soil and the amount of roots that I pulled out of here, but outside of that, I mean, it's been pretty solid. It's just, if you got a large yard like I do, get some help. Like, that's the best advice that I can give you, is get some help, or just plan to spend more than a full weekend or more, because this was not an easy undertaking. how this works out. Kentucky 31. We're gonna make some clean passes. I got 2 bags of this, so it's gonna be a long day. So the number one thing I learned doing this project is that if you think you don't have enough of everything, you likely don't. I thought that I didn't have enough of everything, but I thought it was all in my head. It wasn't. I started this thinking I was only gonna have to make, 1 trip to Home Depot. I was wrong. I ended up making many trips to Home Depot, many trips to Lowe's. One of which you will see coming up because it was it wasn't the only one that was fruitful. But at the same time, just prepare for more than you actually purchase. So if you over purchase, it's fine. You can always return what you don't use. All right, so I've went over every single spot at least once. You can tell from the video that some spots are overseeded, some are under. I overseeded over here on purpose. I want it nice and thick over there. You'll see. However, I didn't rake yet, and to be honest with you, I went through 2 bags of seed. I think I need 1 more, so we're gonna have to take a trip to Home Depot or Lowe's, because before I rake, I want to go over it 1 more time to make sure I get a lot of seed. I'm trying to see if I can overseed as much as possible. So I'm gonna go buy 1 more bag. I'm debating if I should do 2 more, honestly, but I think 1 more should do it, especially because I got this corner over here that I have to do as well. So you can see it all kind of stops right there. So I'm gonna take a trip to Home Depot, maybe Lowe's because it's actually closer, and get some more seed, come back, attack it again. So lucky me, I do have what I'm looking for. I forgot a card. I do that every time I come here. So I'm back from Home Depot. I bought 2 bags. I don't know if you can see that. Two bags of the Pennington, and I'm actually going to go over the yard 1 more time. It looks good, but I know it's gonna look even better once I overseed a bit and then rake. And I'm not gonna video record it. You see me seed. Be back at it. I have completely finished seeding, so now we're gonna move on to the raking. As you can see, I got much better coverage this time than I did before. Now I'm gonna start at one end of the yard and rake the rest of it, and we'll see how it goes. And then we're gonna water, and then that's it for the day. We should be good. Now, as this project comes to a close for me, the number one thing that I'd like to remind everyone is I have no prior landscaping experience. The only experience I have maintaining a yard is cutting grass and cutting shrubs and weed whacking. That is it. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, yard work is not my favorite thing. I love gardening. I do not like cutting or maintaining grass. It was never something that was ever on my radar. However, I do have ADHD, and I tend to be a little bit obsessive sometimes when I start things. So for me, this was one of the best projects I could have taken on, just because of the level of difficulty and the amount of precision that this type of job takes to make sure that you get adequate results the first time around. Now, another thing I had to let everybody know is make sure that you research what type of soil you have in your area. Now, I live in New England. I don't deal with a lot of clay soil, but I do end up with a lot of rocks and roots because there's a lot of trees around, and I do end up with some sand mixing just because we do get a lot of snow. Well, we used to get a lot of snow here in the wintertime. So the number one thing you want to make sure of is research your soil. Make sure you get the proper grass seed. Make sure you get the proper fertilizer to make sure that you get the best results. The other thing I'm going to tell you guys is, if you have no prior experience with landscaping, do your research, heavy research. It pays off in the end to make sure that you're buying the right items and that you're making the right moves so that you're not wasting your time and your own labor. So we have finally finished raking all the seed. There are some spots that I still have to go over, but I did my best to evenly distribute every single last seed out here. Looks like, but now I'm gonna walk around and I'm going to water, and then that's it. Then we wait. There's one more thing. So another reason I raked it, besides evenly distributing the grass seed, is also to get out as much of this dead grass weed and as much of the dead grass as possible. Now I already did that because you can see there's a pile over there. That's all dead weed, grass, everything. We dug it all up, killed it all, and anything that was left over, that's pretty much what this is. So I'm glad I was able to do it. Now we wait, see if our fruits of our labor, work out. So I am finally done. I have watered, raked, seeded, fertilized the entire yard. It's a little wet, but it's finished. So we're gonna come back in 2 weeks. We're gonna see what kind of growth we get, and you can rent tools to make this a lot easier, but me doing things a more old school way, I did do it by hand. This is about, to be honest, I don't know how many square feet, but we're gonna see how everything turns out in about 2 weeks once we start to get some new growth. So we'll see. So if you guys have made it this far in the video, I want to first say thank you very much for watching. This is my first long form video, and although this is not my first DIY project, there will be a lot more to come in the future. So I appreciate everybody for watching, and I hope you guys tune in again in the future.